we meet to discuss issues and matters that affect everyone, irrespective of who you are. We all live in a world that things are happening around us, and we need to shape ourselves in a way such that we will be able to overcome the challenges and the issues that we face in life. So that's why we meet here from time to time to look at a few things that we can do to improve on ourselves, look at a few things that we can do to be better in terms of our lives and everything around us. So I want to welcome you. This is the first one we are having in the year. Thank you for coming. Welcome and welcome to Next Door. Can we put our hands together as we start today? And welcome somebody by your side. Look at somebody near you at your back and say, give me, well, if you can shake, if you have shake, if you can wave, and say, good evening. And we welcome all our viewers online. Thank you for joining. You are welcome to Let's Talk. Before I start today, I wish I could get a few people to tell us what their experiences have been coming to this program. But since I didn't tell you before now, maybe by the time I finish presentation today, you may be in that life and you really want to share something to encourage somebody who's coming here for the first time. I think my shirt is good, right? Yes. Yeah. It's one of the ladies out there that said, today you must appear at Let's Talk in a special shirt. I'm making a special shirt for you to appear. After we got our hands for Princess, she will be very good. And she has some of the materials displayed outside for those who want to patronize her. I came in a different shirt, but I will be going home with a different shirt as well. Awesome. That is wonderful. Then, so we want to appreciate everyone who has been consistent in coming. Thank you very much for your patience with us and for your persistence in supporting this work that we are doing here. And I also want to appreciate the DG of YE for all the support we have been getting from him and the entire YE team. And we appreciate and all those who have committed their time, their resources to help us in one way or the other. And I'm throwing a challenge tonight, by the time I finish our presentation today. If you have something to offer, join the team. So I'll be calling for those who want to join the team because we want to step the work a little bit to another level. We've been operating at this level for a while now. It's time to step up the game. Thank you and God bless you. So I surrender everyone who is here tonight into the hand of the Most High God, and I ask Lord that you speak and help us to come to a place of understanding the grace and the love that you have for humanity. In Jesus' name. Amen. Well, for those who are coming for the first time, I'm praying because it's a normal thing to pray when we gather. But this is not a church assembly. So let's not get confused to say, oh, am I in a church? Let's Talk is not a church assembly. It's a place where we share knowledge, where we share ideas, and because we are people who believe in God, we also create time to acknowledge the divinity of God over our lives. So tonight, I want to speak to us or encourage us, or whichever way you want to put it. I want to address a few things in our lives. We're looking at the 9 safety keys to become successful. before I go into the slides, when we talk about safety, we're talking of something that is safe, something that is that you can use without fear, something that is secure, something that cannot fail because it is safe to use. I've built up these 9 keys, but you may decide to add extra 3, to add extra 10, or to even add extra 50. But I want to believe that outside of these 9, there are just a few which we're able to build on. And so I am hoping that you will have understanding of what we are doing here tonight. So keys are instruments to open a way or to grant access into a place. So we're looking at safety keys, that is a key or keys that you can use without carrying much risk, because there is nothing in life that does not have risk. But these things we are talking about here, the risk involved are close to zero. Because when you apply them, when you use them, it grants you the access that you need to get to the next level. And then I want to define success. I don't know how or what understanding or what knowledge of success you have. But generally, people believe a successful person is a rich person. I disagree. Success and riches don't go hand in hand. What happens is that one is result, the other is a reward. Success is a result of your activity. Success is a result of the input you make into getting something to work. When what you are doing is working, you are successful. But now when success comes, there is always a reward. Now, is the reward okay to make you rich? Or is the reward okay to make you live an okay life? So, success does not tantamount to riches, because there are several ways by which a man can get rich. I don't know how many people saw it on the TV, but my brother was sharing with me this evening or in the afternoon how 2 boys were caught trying to steal a car. So please take care of your cars. They already jacked the car and were about to probably drive it away when they were arrested and beaten to almost stupor before taken to the police station. And don't ask me where they come from. I don't know. So please do take care of your car. It's not just happening here. In UK, I read the story of a lady whose car was taken right in front of her house last week. A brand new Range Rover that she just bought. But lucky enough, she knew how to track the car. She tracked the car to where it was parked and took her car back home. Because the car was just about 1.9 miles away from her house. So it means it's someone within the neighborhood that stole the car. And what do they do with it? They either turn it into spare parts or ship it abroad for sale. So please take care of your cars. I think the time for us to start using that lock is coming back again. We think technology might have made us to do away with such things, but even the remote control, the remote cars are the easiest one to steal these days. So, those boys will have escaped with the vehicle. And not just one. They could have escaped with about 100 vehicles. And then what will people say when they see them spending money? They say they are rich. But then when you will now look at it, when discussion comes, we will say, oh, those boys are very successful. What have they done? What have they done? How did they become rich? So riches and success are not same and equal. One is a result, the other is a reward. And so, if you want to be successful in life, you must work. It's important. You must work. Without work, we cannot talk about success. Because success comes in you applying your person to do something. That's work. And that's why when we are not working, what do we say we are doing? We are resting. Because we are not taxing our bodies, we are not taxing ourselves to commit to do anything that will do something for another person. So when we work, we are doing something that will affect another person's life. And that's why we must work. So 9 safety keys to become successful. Key number 1 is vision. Now, if I ask us to take a census here, how many of us have a vision? Maybe a few, maybe all. But when I ask you to tell me what your vision is, then we will know whether you have a vision or you don't. A lot of people live their lives without a vision. And it's much more a problem for this generation that we are in. Because the vision or the desire of a lot of young people in this age is what? Money. And this didn't start now. When my children were in primary school, I asked them, what do you want to do? They told me. I went outside of my home and asked some of the children there, what do you want to do? I want to be a millionaire. I want to buy a jet. I want to buy a big car. That was their vision. Now, that's within that same period, I traveled overseas. And I asked a few of the children there, what do you want to be? And I had some say, I want to be a policeman. Another say, I want to be a teacher. Another say, I want to be a doctor. So you see that even in the eyes of the young, success, particularly in the African community, success has been equated to riches. And how to get riches is not defined. It's not defined. There's no definition of it, of how to get riches. So, and that's why we're trying everything possible to educate, to enlighten the hearts of young people to be somebody. To be somebody. Vision is something, it could be a dream, it could be a desire, but it's something that you look at the future and you say, this is who I want to be. Not what I want to be, but who I want to be. Because there is a difference between what you are and who you are. You may become the MD of a bank, but who are you? You may be the president of a nation, but who are you? Who have you become? So the becoming is much more important than the what. To become that person. And when you say, who do I want to become in my future? I have an idea. This is who I want to be. That is where your vision comes in, because you are here on this earth to serve a purpose. So when you understand who you want to become, that is what guides you and leads you on the journey to fulfilling your purpose here on earth. And that is where success comes in. So everyone needs a vision. Now, let me share the story of somebody I know very well. When he was young, when he graduated from the university, he came to another city. He looked for a job where he was and couldn't find, so he traveled to another city in Nigeria. Now, when he got to this city, he had to live with a friend because he knew nobody there. But there was a friend of his who was also his classmate, so he lived with him. And when he entered, this fresh graduate who was his friend, when he entered his house, and he asked, who owns this place? He said, this is where I live. How did you get all this? Now the guy said, don't worry. He took him to his father's house. When he saw his father's house, it was then he realized who this guy was. That was such a humble boy back in school that nobody knew what he had. He knew then that this guy was super rich. And he said to him, I will never be poor. That if you have this, I will never be poor. And I'm taking my family out of poverty. Right there and then he made that decision. As I speak to you, he rose in his career to manage one of the greatest banks in Nigeria. He was a guy who, brilliant, and he was the first to be educated. So he knew he had his younger, because his desire was to pull his entire family out of poverty. So his first employment, he got in, he was not satisfied, he looked for something better. He moved. Only God knows how many times in a year he moved from one job to another. And I think he must have worked for about 10 to 12 years when he started his own merchant bank. He started a merchant bank, pulled resources together, and started. He did it for a while, it failed. He went into employment. He came back again. Now it was while he was on this second journey of creating employment for people that the bank where he was pulled him out and said, we need you. Come and help us. I think one of his children is in the UK, in a school where they pay about, I think, close to £40,000. Has he not gone around the bend? He's gone around the bend. Why? Because he saw something that challenged him, and he knew it was possible. He knew it was possible. Now, so here we are. Sometimes it's so okay for us to sit down and manage what we have. And this is one thing I keep challenging my Gambian friend. He said, "Oh, Nadia, you're managing." And I said, "For how long will you manage? How long? How many years are you going to keep managing?" And as you are saying it to yourself, that I'm managing, what are you doing? You are managing. Because the desire to break out does not come. Because that's what you are telling yourself. You are telling yourself, I am managing and I will keep managing. But the day you say to yourself, enough of living a life below my standard. But many of us, we walk below our standards. What God has deposited in us is more than what we do. What we aspire to get is more than the level we stop. So you need first and foremost a vision. But I need to find myself. So you need first and foremost a vision. Who do you want to become? Not what. The what is good, but who is better? Who do you want to become? And when you crafting a vision, your vision must contain a clear picture of what your future should be. It must. Before I got married, I didn't know the type of woman I was going to marry, but I know one thing. I know the type of woman I didn't want to marry. So when I enter into a relationship and I know this is not the house I want, even though I was not too sure what I wanted, but what I didn't want, that was very clear. It was very clear. When you don't have a vision, you enter into any relationship. When you don't have a vision, everything is enough to drive you either the wrong way or the right way. When you don't have a vision, it's easy to deceive you. Now what happens, we live in a world where the social media has made deception so easy. People just look at a story and they say, hey, it's happened again. And it's a lie. Somebody sat down and I keep wondering, how can people just sit down somewhere and put pictures together, create a terrible narrative and post it and people believe? I don't know how many of you belong to WhatsApp groups where such lies spread. I belong to one. When I see it, I just look at it and delete. I'm not keeping it. Neither will I share it because I don't share evil stories. Neither do I share untrue stories. So, do you have a vision? Do you have a vision? What's driving you? Where are you going? What are you aiming at? As a young man living in this country, I was in Form 4 when I took the decision. That's what you call grade 11 now, perhaps. Is it 11? Secondary school ends at grade 12, right? Yes. So what we call grade 11 now? When I took the decision that when I'm grown and I've gained experiences around the globe, I'm coming back here to help development of the nation. I was in grade 11. Now, did I see it happen? I didn't. Was it possible? What? Now, these are places where people begin to think, oh, supposing I die. Why are you thinking of death? It means you are ready to die. I didn't have the capacity to do it when I took the decision. I did not even know what to do to get there. But here I am. Let's Talk has been running now for 13 years. 13 years. When we first started, we were doing it every month in our Calabar Beach Hotel. And since we've been doing it, it's been done the way it is. No charge, it's free. People come in, we serve refreshment. We make the environment conducive for learning. Is to help and to assist people to learn and to change. And I cannot begin to tell you the number of stories that has grown out of here. People whose lives have been turned around. People who have thrown things away to embrace a new idea and new thinking. So you need a vision, a clear picture of what your future must be. Your vision must be transformational. If you engage a vision and there is no change in your life, then you are not fulfilling purpose. Because the purpose of purpose is to change you. That's right. It's not for you to change people. Now there are people whose intention and desire is to change others. They want everybody to change to please them. No. It starts with you. What are you laying down? What are you giving up? What is at your disposal? What is the disadvantage you have that you think you need to get rid of? Or what are the advantages that you have over others that you need to lay down as a sacrifice? The change must be inculcated in the vision. It also tells of the value you have towards yourself and to others. So if you have a vision that is not changing you and making you better, then you have a wrong vision. Now, if it's making you better and not making others better, then you have a bad vision. The vision is bad because it is an oppressive one. It's not helping anyone. So the vision can be wrong or it can be bad. But if it adds value to you and it adds value to others, then you have a good vision. It contains a map. So when you set a vision for your life, you may not know how to implement it. But I want you to know that right inside of you, there is a map. That's right. You don't have to see it. There is a map inside of you, and every step you take, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, the map becomes to get clearer and clearer, and the road is laid down for you. It must be challenging. If you have a vision that is not taller than you, you don't have a vision. Your vision must be taller than you. So that's the number one thing in becoming successful. A good vision. A good vision. Not just a vision. Not a wrong one. Neither a bad one. But a good vision. And I want to challenge you. When we start taking contribution, tell us what your vision is. Or you ask me, what is my vision? Let's challenge one another. And if you tell us your vision, if it's wrong, we'll tell you. If it's bad, we'll also tell you. And if it's good, we will clap for you. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Number 2 is to set goals. Now, believe me, these things I'm telling you cannot fail. It does not mean that you cannot have challenges with them, but one thing is certain, it cannot fail. That is why I call them safety keys. Because they unlock your future. They unlock your destiny. So the second thing is to set goals. So if you have a vision, in your vision there are sets of goals. A set of goals. I know some people are very bad in keeping goals. I don't know what level I fall into. Maybe I'll be a number 4 from 1 to 10. Maybe I'll be about 4 or 5. Because I set out and other things overtakes me and I give it. Then suddenly I realize myself, oh my God, I'm drifting. So one thing I've learned is not to give up when I drift. Because that's where the goal fails for some people. When the drift comes, you're like, oh, can I start again? I've gone too far. You can always get back in life. So in your vision, there are sets of goals. And you need to set the goal. Like when I spoke of me coming back to the Gambia to help in developing the nation in my own way, one thing I knew was that I needed to be knowledgeable. Because without knowledge, what am I going to share? What am I going to say? So for me, education became paramount. So for me, every opportunity to learn something became important to me. And that's where my change kept coming. Because the more I learn, the better I get, and the more I change. So you need to set goals. Make the goal clear and plain. You don't have to go for long years of goals. What do you want to become? Set a goal of 6 months, set a goal of 6 years. Okay, this year I want to advance in my work, I want to advance in my career, I want to advance in my education. There's one of us here. I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing this. When we met, and she was like old then, and I said to her, what do you want to be? She said, I want to be a lawyer. I said, you can't be a lawyer with bad results. She said, I took school science since almost 10 years ago. I said, that's where to begin. You have to retake. It was like, Pastor, this is hard. I said, if you really want to be who you want to be, go back. With a little encouragement, with a little nudging, she took the decision. But the first problem was, oh, how will I pay for exam? How will I pay for studies? I said, is that a problem? Or an after effect? The first thing is a decision. And that's where sometimes we fail. We don't take decisions, we look at the things that are needed. When you don't take decisions, you cannot meet the things that are needed. But when you decide, those things don't become obstacles anymore. Because one way or the other, it will find its way to your life. One way or the other, those things will happen. All you just need to do is to do what? Decide. Take a decision. So make your goal plain and clear. Write it down. It's always good to write it down. I like writing in ink and paper. I enjoy typing too, but it's a burden to me because I can't think when I'm typing. But when I think, I prefer to write. And interestingly, maybe I'm old school, I don't know. But interestingly to me, when I write, I retain. When I type, I try to remember. And I will tell you one thing. The creator of this body knows what he's doing. Because when you write, you are writing with one finger. And if you are left-handed, it means you are thinking from the left side of your head, of your brain. If you are right-handed, it means you are thinking from the right side of your brain. So when you are writing, what you are doing is storing back into the brain the things you are doing. So make it clear, write it down, speak it out. Some I've heard people say, oh, don't tell your goal to people. Then it means the people you have around you are bad. If you have bad people around you, then you are bad. Simple. I'm surrounded by good people, so I'm not scared to share my dreams with people. I'm not afraid to share my dreams with people. But if I'm surrounded by bad people, what will I do? I'm afraid and I keep it to myself. So you better change your circle. If you are hiding from people, then you are not moving with good people. Talk about it to the right people. Because when you speak, ideas will grow. The idea you have is just a drop in the whole of the ideas that you're supposed to implement. And you cannot implement just that little until it becomes a whole. So it's in sharing and discussing with people that the whole comes, because someone will challenge you. Someone will ask questions from you. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do that? Why this? Why that? And try to change it. Why not this? Why not that? That is where your thinking, your thoughts are being processed for you to get the right things that you need to get. Okay. Let's go to number 3. Be bold. You need to be bold. Without boldness, we can't achieve much. We can't achieve much without boldness. You need to be bold. And that is to say, step out in faith. You may not see the road may not be clear. You can't wait until everything is set before you step out. If you wait for everything to be set to step out, it will be too late. Can I see clearly? No. Do I know where I'm going? No. Do I know what lies at the corner? No. But how will I know if I don't step out? Now there are these things that people are scared of. I like people who are risk-minded. I mean the risk managers who don't want you to do dangerous things. But sometimes if you don't do those dangerous things, some dangerous blessings will not come your way. So the risk manager will try to manage you and say, oh, do it this way, do it that way. Why? Because he wants to see all the boxes ticked. It doesn't work that way. It's fear. It's fear. When you are guided by fear, not the fear that guides you from evil, but the fear that keeps you from good. When you are guided by that fear, you can never get to your destination. Because that fear keeps you away from taking steps that will lead you to your good place. So be bold. Step out in faith. Now you're saying, but supposing this happens, supposing that happens, supposing this, supposing that, and because of the suppose, you sit down and you are not ready to move. And the question is, supposing all of this didn't happen, have you not lost? You have lost. So you really don't know what happens until you are there. everything we say is just postulations and calculations. So unfortunately, we live in a world where figures is all that matters. They say a country is worth billions. An individual as the richest man is worth billions. Where is the money? Where is the money? Who sees it? They are all figures. So if you don't step out, you don't know what to expect. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Do not fear criticism, learn to accept it. But whether you are good or bad, people will criticize you. If you cut off your head and give to people, they will also blame you. Why did you cut your head? People will blame you. So if that is how you want to live, then you don't go anywhere. So learn to accept criticism from people and move on with your life. Encourage yourself when things are not going in the right direction. Most times or sometimes we wait for people to encourage us. Sometimes people, that's the time they mock you. So if you allow mockery to lay hold on you, you are down. You need to focus on your goal. Revive your vision. When things are not going the way you want it to go, remind yourself this is not where I'm going. Imagine you set out from here and you take a taxi to take you to Brikama. And the taxi starts heading towards Banjul. Definitely, you know you're on the wrong track. You will have to address the driver to turn and take you to where you are going. So don't be afraid when you realize you're in the wrong direction. Don't be afraid to change your course. Don't even be ashamed. Because the people that shame you will not help you. They're not going to help you. So why do you bother yourself about them, being ashamed of them? Or being ashamed that they're going to talk and shout down on you or speak evil about you? Whether you turn or you don't turn, they won't criticize you. You better do what is just and make the U-turn to face the road that you need to go. Number 3, I think I'm too slow. Okay. Number 4, you need to know yourself. I just wrote through the other or I stopped somewhere and take some discussions. You need to know yourself. A lot of times, we don't take time to study yourself. And studying yourself will help you both in your health, in your mental being, and in your total well-being. Some people have outbreaks of certain sicknesses and diseases based on what they eat. They don't know. But these are signs, these are things that you have been seeing signs of it from year in, year out. And if you don't take time to understudy yourself, to find out why is this thing happening, you will never get to the root of it. When you go to the hospital, they will tell you different stories. So know yourself, get to understand who you are. But first of all, appreciate yourself. If you don't appreciate yourself, how do you want people to appreciate you? So people are ashamed of who they are. We all can't look the same. We all can't be equal. So the first thing to do is to appreciate yourself the way you are. When you appreciate yourself the way you are, it will change your outlook. It will change. But when you don't appreciate yourself the way you are, it will also change your outlook, but negatively. Because why? You look down on yourself, and people will know that you are not a confident person in yourself. When you're not confident in who you are, people will know. People will treat you that way. And then
the next thing that follows is that you begin to find that you are being disrespected. That people are disrespecting you. Yes, that is the way it is. Don't seek to become another person. You want to dress and look like this person. You want to speak and talk like that person. Or you even want the life of such and such a person. Is that who you are? That's not who you are. I am who I am. So what should I do? Live in the confidence of who I am. I don't seek to be another person. Because when you do copycat, you are just what we would call it. Not the person. You are just fake. A copycat is a fake. It's not the original. When you do photocopy, you have the original and the what? And the photocopy. Even if you destroy the photocopy, the original you will always preserve. So live in the originality of who you are. Do not underrate, learn to understand your limitation. And there are people who get into an environment, they don't even know how to behave. And we all have limitations. So when you don't know what your limitation is, you get into an environment and misbehave. That's why it's called misbehavior. Because you don't know how to behave. You don't know your limitations. You don't know what you should do and what you shouldn't do in a particular environment. Learn, understand, and know what your limitations are and work either to overcome them or to live within it in a setting. Do not underrate yourself. Be who you are. Don't underrate yourself. Neither overestimate your strength. Because we are all limited in strength. People who overestimate their strength don't need help. They will never ask for help. It's pride, actually. Because everybody needs help. Everyone needs help. At one point in time in life, we need someone to help us to do certain things. We need someone to help us to get into certain places. But when you feel, I have it all, I don't need help, you are overrating your strength. So I'll stop here for a while and then take some discussion. Number five is be willing. You need to have a willingness to learn. A learner is a leader. But you need to have a willingness to accept correction. Some people are very stubborn. It used to be. So it's not anything bad. You can change. So I've changed. I'm no longer stubborn. Maybe my wife will be able to attest to that. So be willing to accept correction. Be willing to apologize when you know you are wrong. Be willing to embrace growth mechanism. Don't assume you know. Because sometimes when you are being told or being taught something, your mind goes away because you think what you're talking about. I know. You may know it, but it may come to you in a different way. So don't throw away opportunity to grow, and also be willing to help others. So we'll pause here a bit, and let's generate some discussion for the floor. But we are not in a class. So don't be the lecturer. I'm not just a lecturer.